years ago, a seed was planted and cared for. We painstakingly nurtured it and weathered it against adversity until one day it blossomed and the fruits of our labor began to show. Today, millions have learned, shared, and been inspired by what our community has produced. We proudly served 21 million users from 204 countries in 2019. For our 85,000 technical articles, code samples, and videos, our 450,000 forum questions, and our highly anticipated conferences and events featuring keynote panels, live streams, and industry experts and influencers, we recognize and reward members for their dedication to the community. Through content contributions and mentorships, we ranked number 2,620 in the world with a reach of millions across our social media channels. Thanks to you, our global community of software and data developers grows stronger each day. For more information, visit us at csharpcorner.com.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to the Growth Mindset Show. If you're joining us first time, welcome to the show. If you're joining us back, welcome back to the show. Some of you may already know this show is for you. I'm here for you. If you have any questions, concern, you want to comment, you want to jump in, start posting your comments, we will take your questions. And today's topic is social media. I'm sure most of us here are on social media, and today we are going to talk a little bit about social media, and I want to get you involved. I want to know what you think and what you do and all that, so I want to get you involved in that. We are going to talk a little bit about what's going on C Sharp Corner. We are also going to talk about some of the hiring and what new things we are working on the product as well. And let's start, and we're going to have a guest in the second half of the show. It's going to be again 30-40 minutes show, and we're going to have a guest. Hopefully my sound is good. Let me check. I'm on a different laptop today. So yeah, let's start with one of the cool things happened this week. I don't know if you have tried, but Windows 11 launch on October 5th. Is any of you installed Windows 11 yet? Yeah, just post me in your chat in the comments if you have installed Windows 11, or if you're planning to install it. If you have already installed it, let me know what you think, and then I'll share what I think. I just installed Windows 11 on one of my laptops. So a couple of things I found is biggest problem I found with Windows 11 is the login. So if you are, like many of you are, and like me, you use your laptop for your personal use as well as for your company use. So if you are on Microsoft Teams or somehow logged into your company's network, somehow my Windows 11 was messed up. The login was messed up. What was the problem was actually when I was trying to log in using my PIN, it would not let me use my PIN. It was thinking that my company account was my login account. So it took me a while to figure that out. So if you are using your laptop to access your company Teams, I would highly recommend that you remove that account before you upgrade your Windows 11. Or maybe just uninstall Teams for the time being until you install it. That should fix your problem. One other thing you want to do probably, so there's multiple ways you can install Windows 11. I think Microsoft recommends is that you wait until your Windows update starts showing that you now have a Windows 11 and you can install there. That's what Microsoft recommends. That's what I would recommend as well. But I didn't want to wait because my laptop wasn't showing it. So I was like, no, I really want to install right now. So I went, download it, and I installed myself. That's probably the reason I got those problems. What problems I got? So yeah, if you have installed Windows 11, what your first thoughts are? I think what I to me it's okay. I mean, I like this new. Okay, there's new design, there's new screens. It's more like Apple looking. Yeah, big deal. I can care less. I was fine with my Windows 10 as well. It has more themes and all that. I think it's targeted more younger people who are looking for cool UI. Um, I haven't dig more into the performance and other hardware and other things, but good thing is everything else worked fine. Your audio, video, anything I was using, my drivers, everything was fine. Visual Studio, Office, all the applications seems to be working fine. Skype, no problems. Yeah, I didn't have any other problems. Okay, so Deepak says he's using Windows 11 since 29th June. So you probably try way early. That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, Deepak, if you like it, what do you think? You like, you don't like? What's your favorite feature in there? Yeah, just share with us. Yeah, that's great. So that was Windows 11. Let's start with another topic we are going to cover in C Sharp Corner. So C Sharp Corner, we are rebranding the platform, the whole website and the apps, all those combined. Um, we are working in the design phase right now. We are always redesigning. Okay, there's always some work going on C Sharp Corner. We have a team of developers and designers, but this time we are really thinking about re like how Windows 10 and Windows 11 they kind of redid the whole thing. Same thing we are thinking about C Sharp Corner. More details I have, more designs I have. I'm going to start sharing with the, talk about some of the things on this show as well. So that's something cool coming out. I'm very excited about this. There's a lot of things coming on C Sharp Corner as well as on our platform. On jobs, C Sharp Corner jobs, we are now more working on jobs a lot. You probably saw job section where we are posting jobs daily. We're also hiring ourselves. Means C Sharp Corner team is hiring in India and US, as well as my company Mindcracker. We are also hiring developers for our clients in Mindcracker in the US. So if you know anybody or any who's looking for a job, it has to be experience. Yeah, unfortunately we don't hire too many younger unexperienced people, but it's just the demand. That's how it is, right? So check that out, jobs, and if you know somebody who's looking for jobs, just check out those. Great thing in the US is, I don't know about India, but in the US is that there's so much demand for software developers, all kind of software developers, .NET developers, Java developers, cloud architects, cloud engineers, DevOps engineers. There's so much demand, and because this pandemic and working from home, it has changed so much. The technology has moved almost 5 years advanced in the last 1 year or so. So that's why there's so much demand coming up. So all of you who are in this field, we should all be lucky because there's no limitation of so many things you can learn and grow, and job is not a problem these days. So that's I covered those two things, and I want to talk about the main topic in social media today. And I want to talk about social media, and let me bring our guest today, David Simon. Whenever David is ready, he can come in, and we're going to just talk about social media. I'm sure you probably heard that Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp went down. Do you know why they went down? Did you read anything on that? And I want to just first wait for your responses. That what do you guys think? And and then I'll talk about why it went down and what was the major problem. At least what I wrote, I read online. Uh, but this is the biggest problem going forward in this world we live in, right? Uh, One of the problem is going to be happen. Yes, Simon said there was DNS issues, there were some routing issues. So here's the funny part. Their company, their building, buildings have these login, people can check in, check out. They can use their key to, open the door and even open the office doors. And I think one of the reason was because their server went down, means their applications went down, means their card didn't work. So the technical people who are supposed to fix the DNS and other issues, they couldn't get in the office. So if they didn't get an office, how will you get? So I think one of the challenges is that when you build applications, they are centralized, they are stored and managed on centralized servers, and something happened to those servers. What happened? That's when these all problems happen. It wasn't distributed, it wasn't decentralized, right? And that's where I'm more and more getting involved in blockchain technology, and that's what blockchain brings to the table is decentralization, and it's distributed. That means there are multiple nodes, and each node acts as a server. And if one or two nodes goes down, that's fine. They go down, that's fine, because the rest of the network will still be functioning. So that was funny, I thought. But since we are all building the software, right? All of us, I'm sure you're watching, they're all building software. Biggest challenge for us is coming out in next few years is the data, the amount of data we are storing each, like every day. Think of us like, you wake up, first thing, what do? You look at your phone, look at your time, you then look at your social media, you look at emails. You wake up and then listen to music while you're in shower or eating, you're reading news or something. Then you are working on your remotely on your laptop, and then all day you're doing something, you're watching movie. So what we are doing as a human being is we are all either creating a lot of content and storing that somewhere, or we are consuming, means we're downloading from somewhere and consuming it. So point is that all of us, 7 billion people in this world, every minute, every second, in their devices, just the phone, homes, cars, all what we are doing is we are like generating so much data, and we are consuming so much data. So data is going back and forth to billions of people. And this data not only travels from one machine to other machine, one server to other server, it's also stored on so many servers, thousands of thousands sometimes. So this is going to create so much problem for us, and we should be ready for that. So this good part for us is that's what you need to start thinking, like if you want to build something, learn something new in future, what is this coming? So that's where I think Pushpinder has a good point. So Web 3.0, right? Web 3.0 has these technologies, so it's supposed to solve some of these problems, and blockchain is one of them. And that's why my more focus on blockchain is one of the technology that will help solve this centralized problem. And Keshav joins us. Good morning, Keshav. I think it's night there. You are in a village. This is night. Pushpinder, welcome to the show again. Today we are talking about social media, how social media is impacting our lives, good and bad. If you have any feedback on social media here, just share me why you like, what would you dislike, and I'll put my own points here with social media. So I was doing some research, and in the US, we spend average 3.13 hours, like 3.25 hours each day on social media. Average person. And I'm not talking about me, everybody. Some spend probably 1 hour, some spend 5 hours. This is how it is. So we're spending about 3 hours. Um, what happened to my Instagram? Okay, Simon says, what happened to my Instagram? Yes, I will share my story with Instagram. Um, so we spend about 3 hours on social media. If you combine 3 hours a day in your whole lifetime, we live around 80 years average lifetime. In 80 years, we spend 8 years of our lives on social media. You are basically spending a big chunk of your life. Think of this. In 24 hours, you, I'm sure, 7 8 hours sleep, 6 to 8 hours. You spend some time working, obviously. Average people work 4 hours 4 hours a day. That's how much we work. We sleep, and as much as we are working, same thing amount we are spending on social media and goofing around on these apps. Think about that, and how productive it is making you. So one thing is that we are spending 7 8 years of our lives on social media. That means all these companies, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, LinkedIn, all that, are taking a big chunk of our lives. And if we don't start realizing that the time we are spending on these social media, if we are not getting anything out of it, that means we are wasting that time. And I'm not saying social media is bad or good. It can be good, it can be bad. It depends on how you use it. You have to have a balance. You have to have a balance between your personal use, your entertainment use, your friends and family use versus your productive use, right? The social media can also be thought of as a tool for your growth, tool for your personal growth, tool for your professional growth. So if I'm on Twitter and I'll give you an example. If I'm on Twitter and I'm a programmer and I want to learn, I will follow the accounts that will help me learn new things, right? But if I'm on Twitter and or Facebook and I'm following something that's like a politics, that's like a, something it's interest to me, but it's not really helping me grow in my life, then you start wasting your time. And the research just came out, a study just came out, and there was a big debate going in the US is now how social, especially Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg, CEO, when they build these algorithms, they are making them more and more addictive. And they are bringing all the topics where they will get you more addictive. For example, we all know that hate is the one of the most fastest growing emotions, right? It will catch you much faster than anything, than love, than other emotions, right? So what does that mean? Means if you post something which you hate or dislike, you are more likely to comment on that, to share that, to get furious about it. So your brain start going out. So end of the day, what's happening? End of the day, it's wasting your time. You're wasting your time because it's not helping you grow, right? First of all, it's taking you away from your goals. And second of all, by the time you realize that you're done with this thing, you spend so much time and it's frustrate you. That also affect your other things. And a perfect example is, let's say you go to, so you go to your Facebook today. You read something that somebody posted a bad thing about one of the leaders you love, and then you reply that back, and you reply back and forth, and out of sudden you're just fighting on social media. But the fighting may be on social media. Now your whole mind is all, you are all angry, you're all that. Now you go to work and then your anger is going to be reflected there, or you go to meet your friends, or you're with family, so it all affects entire everybody around you. And that's what you need to think about, that really is the social media helping you grow in your personal or professional life. And I'm not saying it is, or it maybe it is. A lot of people taking advantage. I've known people where they started Facebook, they started Twitter, they started YouTube, and they're making a lot of good money on that. They're using that as business use. They put content out there and they promote the content, their followers. So they're using social media as a tool. If you're using social media as a because you are bored with your life, you have nothing important to do, you need to rethink about your life, because social media is not place to be. And they also found out in the research that the impact of social media is is the same as you would do, and impact on your brain is same as from any drugs. Like, you know it affects the same part of your brain. So you get these dopamine release where you feel good, you feel happy, you feel like some satisfied, but it's very temporarily. Then, because it affects like a drug, you wanted more, right? You wanted more, you go back again, and out of sudden it becomes a habit. Once it becomes a habit, then it's hard to quit that. Once you start using it, then it becomes a habit, and then even you don't want to do it, you'll just automatically do it because you're not even doing it. It's just your subconscious mind is already trying to do it because now it's your habit. So if you're trying to build something habit, think about this really. Look inside you, ask yourself a question. Okay, how much time did I spend today on social media? And what did I get out of that? Think about that. And I want to give you one more question to think about. How many times you look at your bank account, that how much money you have, look at your expenses, how much money you're going to spend this month, look at your income, and do the calculations and work on that. Like, okay, I'm making this much money each month, I'm spending this much. How do I manage that money? How many times? How many of you do that? Just reply me here. How many of you think about money every day? I bet all of us, everybody think about. Even if you ask Elon Musk, who is the richest person in the world, he also probably thinking about money every day. But how many times really do you think about in a day that how am I spending my time? Ask yourself. How many times do you think in a day that how did you spend your time today? Time is probably the most valuable currency in the world because we have 24 hours a day. You cannot make it. You cannot earn more. This is limited. That's it. So if you look at the habits of successful people versus not so successful people, it's only one of the biggest difference you will find is how do you manage your time and how do you spend your time and what do you get out of that. And you probably saw my article on productivity, and that's the reason I write on these, because I learn from my, what I do learn, and I write about it. I may be wrong, I may be right. That's why I want to listen from you. Like, do you agree, do you disagree? What's your thought on this? Why didn't you post comment? I want to discuss some comments. Let's take some comments. Like, come on guys, we want to know if so what does, let's say, Pushpender says that don't believe blindly on social media. You must post. Yes, you must do the fast checks. That's very important actually. One of the biggest problem with social media is that there's so much false information, and it's hard to do fact check actually. It's not that easy that, oh, is it fact or is it not, right? If I'm following some person which I like and they are motivated by some, let's say, some religion or some politics, and they post something, I'm automatically assume that, yeah, I think, because I trust that person. That's the challenge. And doing all the research and finding out what's right, what's wrong, is it takes time. So to me, if you ask me, I don't believe anything. I don't care about things. I ignore things. So you have to think about always. One thing can help in this is set up your goals. Set up your goals and what you want to say. For example, I don't know, you want to you want to own your own company. Let's just say that you want to start your own business, you want to start your own startup. Set up that goal. In everything you do, think about how is this thing helping you get to your goal. So for example, you want to start your startup, I don't know, selling. So you have an app and you want to build an app for I don't know, selling some products. You go on social media. Great, you go personally, social media for your personal use, but also think, can I use this social media that can help me in my startup, in my business? Start thinking that way. Once you start thinking that way, you automatically, you know, ignore the things that don't matter to you. That's why it will help. If you want, let's say you want to do a master's degree or PhD in computer science, start following people, start following companies, start following accounts that will help you, educate you on that topic. If you want to become a software architect, try to start following accounts, because whatever accounts you follow, more information you see from them, more you will read, and that's what you will become. It's a known fact. We become what information we consume. It's that simple. And you can tell there's so many, famous people have quoted that, and it's proven that you are what your friends are. If you look at your five closest friends, you are a reflection of that. If not, you will become exactly that, because that's where you consume most of your information, and that's what your brain will start believing that, yeah, and that's what you'll become. So think about this way. I think we need some guest. Anybody wants to come join? Pushpender, you want to come join in the back side? Looks like you have good knowledge of a lot of topics. Anybody wants to come join behind the scene? I think we're waiting on David. David is going to join us in a minute. And here we go. Hey, David, look at that. How are you? I love your background.
Yeah, that's all my speakers from my first year of rocking the code world.
Yeah, and these are the some of the people, they're very influential in this programming world, especially in Microsoft.
Yep, that's
So
true.
how things going there in California?
They're going good. It's actually raining here, which is very rare for San Diego, at least.
All
Um,
right.
we had
Yeah.
some
So
really bad thunderstorms on Monday, which is very, very, very rare. We rarely get lightning and thunder here at all. And
wow, wow. Yeah. So before that, Pushpinder has asked, how do I join? So Simon, you can help him out. Pushpinder would love to have you join in a few minutes. Yep. So yeah, about thunderstorm. So day before yesterday, I was sleeping at night and I was dreaming that my house is flying. And then I woke up and Lana told me that did you know that we had bad thunderstorm last night and house was shaking?
yeah,
Like, was it
that's
real? Yeah, and then the next day I realized that was real because when I sleep, I'm out. Okay,
yeah,
you can literally, have a band playing on my ear. I'm not gonna wake up.
yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, how things going? Everything is going good there?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So we were talking about social media, and I know you are very active on social media. I'm personally not on Facebook. I had a Facebook account. I uploaded bunch of pictures of my son and kids long time ago. I don't want to delete them. Account is there
Yeah.
as a saving, so I can go back. I don't really use Facebook. I'm never on Facebook.
Yeah, I've
Well,
actually, you
yeah.
know, I was thinking about this before you brought me on, and quite frankly, the only reason I'm even on social media is because of the MVP summit. Because way back long time ago when I was at the MVP summit, Facebook was out, and the only way we could really kind of communicate amongst ourselves and where the parties are and where things are happening was Facebook, right? And so right there at the conference, I joined Facebook so I could find out where all the parties are. And then a couple years later, everybody kind of moved to Twitter, and so then that's how we found out where everything was going on. And so, quite frankly, I don't think I even had a desire to join social media, and to tell you what I've done, especially because of the political climate in America, at least, that the beginning of last summer, I basically pseudo left Facebook, right? I took it off my phone. I only use it pretty much to market my shows and my books and stuff like that. I really don't do anything personal on it anymore. There's only one person I chat to in India through it, and she's the one who did the painting of me. And so, yeah, I don't really use Facebook, and I've even tweeted and put on Facebook if anybody would mind if I deleted my Facebook account. Oh, Mahesh, we can't hear you anymore. Mahesh, I think you're on mute. Something's going on. We can't hear you. You've done something.
You're muted.
So
Pushpinder, even you are muted.
Yeah, I think you're muted somehow. Anyway, I'll keep talking while Mahesh tries to figure it out. But yeah, so that's the only reason. And I don't really use Facebook anymore. And to tell you the truth, since I left it, which was actually took me a couple days to kind of get myself off the addiction of Facebook. But I feel so much better that I'm not on Facebook anymore. My stress is better, my mood is better. I don't waste so much freaking time, on the phone or on the web just looking at people's silly pictures and stuff. So I feel better not being on Facebook. Mahesh is still trying to figure out his audio problems. So I'll keep talking, I guess. So for our other guest on here, what do you think about social media?
Actually, social media is very good tool to reach out with multiple people. Because of a social media, I'm connected here, and I used to follow Mahesh sir from long time. And after that, I saw the tweet link. Then after that, I joined this one. Actually, sometimes what happens, social media algorithm is just whatever you like, that will show only that particular thing. In that, sometime what happen, someone want to target you, or someone to one want to manipulate you, so they can manipulate very easily. So
Yeah.
social media, we should focus more on the in business purpose, because of
Yeah.
target we can reach more.
Yeah. And let me stop you real quick because like half of your audio is cutting out. So I guess it's the problems with audio show. So maybe you can look at your microphone because something's happened and we're only getting like half of what you're saying through your microphone. So I guess I'll keep talking. I don't know what anybody else have comments about social media. But I think maybe what you were saying is don't blindly believe social media. Yeah, and that's one problem we have, especially with Facebook, is that all the people, all the forces out there that are trying to get you to think their way or buy their products or everything are on mass on Facebook. And unfortunately, we're finding out in America, at least, that Facebook has algorithms that basically, take the more angry things and put them to the top of your list, right? And because they found out that, negative, angry posts sells more product, they get, their advertisers get more clicks, and so they make more money. And, as we found out Monday when they were down for 6 hours, I saw in one news report that they are losing $300 million an hour, when they were down. And so just think about just promoting that negative stuff, how that really, gets more advertising money, right? And that's quite frankly, and I know a lot of people likes Facebook, and especially people from other countries like India and places like that. But, unless I'm wrong, Twitter doesn't do that, right? Twitter is just a continuous feed, top down. They don't put things at the top. They try to get you to, buy products or, think of one political way or something like that. So that's kind of why I basically like Twitter, because it's more of just,
Hello.
promoting things. Oh,
Right.
there you're back.
I'm back. Yeah, sorry. I'm using a new laptop. Something is going on here. Yeah.
Yeah.
And funny thing is, I was using this. It wasn't working. So, hey, Pushpinder, nice to see you, buddy.
Yeah.
No, he had a good point, right? Social media has very good use, right?
Yeah.
If we use it as a tool, not as a lifestyle, right? So, people follow us, we connect on social media, we share photos and all that. So, as long as we don't go on Instagram and fall for those addictive, feeds, because
Right.
it's going to keep feeding you more and more. So, as long as we manage our time right, that's how we need to do.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
before you brought me on, I was thinking about social media. And one of the things that really, really irritates me about people who are addicted to social media, because when I was on Facebook, I have to admit, I was a little bit addicted to it. But there are some people that are so addicted to it, they literally can't not check their phone every 2 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And this really bugs me, especially when I'm on a date. If I'm on a first date with somebody, right, and they start looking at their phone every 2 minutes, that's the last date.
Yeah.
Right. Because I don't want to be with anybody that is living their life through social media and that's all they can pay attention to. Right.
Yeah. And this becomes your habit at one point, right? So,
Yeah,
Pushpinder, where are you joining us from? Just tell us a little bit. What do you do? Where are you joining us from?
Right now, I'm living in Malaysia, and in the last lockdown, I stuck here. Till that, right now, lockdown is not open, and for India, you have to like a fully vaccination you need, and so I'm stuck in Malaysia, and right now living in Malaysia.
Oh wow, for a year or so, that long?
Yeah, 2 years.
Wow. Can you imagine stuck in Malaysia for 2 years? Well, hopefully you're enjoying it, Oh, there you go. Yeah. It's a hotel room?
No, this is
Okay. All right. Hey, listen, that's what it is. The world of remote. That's what world of remote is, you know.
I just want to say real quick before we, move off this topic is that, move off of what we're talking about right now is that, the problem with social media that I see, not only with social media, but phones themselves is, people become addicted to it. And just like any other drug, they don't realize it. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even when you confront them with it, it's like talking to a drug addict, you know?
Yeah, they don't realize because remember the way our brain works, and I'm
Right.
doing a lot of study research on our brain, like physically it works is really whatever you do a lot, it start thinking that that's the truth, that's the real. That's how brain is. Okay, it's very simple. Our brain is designed to make us happy. It wants to. You maybe there are killers, right? Killers don't think they're the bad people.
No.
Because their mind convinced them that they are doing the right thing. They were supposed to do that. They had no choice. So it makes so many excuses. This mind makes so many excuses for you.
Yes.
And I want to have more discussion on mind, how it works along other points. But today I want to focus on social media. And I want to learn from people who are watching this. Like, why are you on social media if you are doing something productive? But the biggest problem with social media comes is when you start reading something, you start affecting your real life. And then you start thinking like I'm fighting in real, like literally sometimes you're posting on social media, but in your mind you're yelling at somebody. So that's not good.
No, and I was doing that way too much. And when our last president was in office, right?
Yeah.
And it really affected me in a bad way. And that's why I basically got off of Facebook last summer, is because I realized just how much Facebook is contributing to my anger, right? And my frustration, right?
So I compare this is something I compare. I compare a human body as a computer, right?
Yeah.
It's like no different if you
it's
think
a biological computer.
Yeah, it's more complex and all that. So whatever information you read, you see, you watch, you listen, it goes in our brain start making the calculations, start putting out, program is running, and then it says it's bad, good, and all that.
Right.
So it's important to filter out the bad information, especially that start running your computer so fast and start consuming your memory, so you're out of memory.
Yeah.
So you gotta figure this way out. Anything you read or you listen or you watch that's making you mad, angry, frustrated, you gotta stay out of that.
Yeah. Or not do it all the time.
It's not
do it
worth.
all the time.
Yeah, it's not worth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so there is a question for you, Pushpender. Actually, Simon says, what do you think about YouTube membership that doesn't show ads on video? Is that reducing the revenue generated by creators? You only can answer that question.
Membership. Actually, membership is like a best way to, for example, I make videos on Bitcoin, blockchain technology, crypto, and altcoins, all those things. So some of like a contributor, and for example, if I want to predict the Bitcoin price for like tomorrow, the Bitcoin can break this particular resistance or something, and I can make like some plan. You will get the early access, or like I have some announcement, and I want to do some monetization because of with the help of monetization or with the help of you can say membership. I can make the plans like if you will pay me 200 rupees, then you will get the early access. So something like I think membership is good, but everyone cannot afford. Yeah, definitely. But in the membership, like I think 40% or 30%, YouTube cut the 30% money.
I see. We need to learn more on that. We need to get more on that call. You need help on that, even from C# corner side. So there's another question from Abhishek, and it's more like a comment that yes, social media thrives on sensation. Yes, correct. And here's the thing, right? Yeah, here's the thing. Anything that is hard to do Okay, and that is not really spicy. Our brain says, yeah, it's hard. Do you really want to do that? But if you look at all the people who are the successful people like MVPs, all that, they have make their habit that they will work hard, right?
Mhm.
So, and so that's one point I want to put here. We can discuss this together, and I want to see what people think. Other point is that social media, it says social, right?
Mhm.
And here's the funny thing: all social media platforms are created by people who are not social at all. They were nerds. How can you expect a nerd to create a social media platform? What do you think they would create?
Yeah, look at Mark Zuckerberg. I mean,
Yeah.
every time I look at that guy, he looks like a pedophile, you
Yes.
know? I mean,
I
I
don't.
just look at him and I'm just waiting to hear that they're going to arrest him, right?
We
I
should
mean,
not do that. They're gonna. Are we gonna go to jail soon? But point is that a nerd who are never social in their life,
right.
they are creating social media platforms.
That's why he created it.
Yeah, like
They
he
get
created
dates.
social media so he can look at the girls and
Right.
say who is hot, who is not,
Right.
because he could not find a real girlfriend in life.
Right.
And now we expect these people to kind of control our lives,
Right.
and that's what these platforms are. That's they what reflect.
Yeah.
Social media is not social life. If you want social life, you need to go in real, because we are social people. Human are social
Mhm.
animals. We need social interactions. We cannot be machines. So we have to, if you want to feel happy and satisfied for long term in your life, you have to find a real social life.
Yeah, because if you're on social media, you're not really being social, right?
Yes.
That's a bad word,
Yeah.
right? You're not being social on there, right? Unless you're on a group chat or something like that. But that's different.
Not socialistic,
That's-
you
yeah,
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Social is in person, really, if you ask
Yeah.
me about social.
You're being antisocial when you're on a
Yes.
social media platform, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then other thing, a lot of research are saying that on social media, it's easy to say bad things to people when you are not in person, because they just did research on, you don't
Yeah.
look at them, you don't feel about
Right.
them. There's no, expressions, nothing. You can just post whatever.
Right.
And that's what kids are having problem, at least in the US, is that a lot of kids in high school and younger kids, they are posting stuff on social media. They are mean, and it's impacting other kids who are in this kind of, there's a lot of suicides happen because of that reason. And
Right.
Facebook does not share this information with anybody.
Right. And people are, people, I saw this early this week on a show that where this person talked about their transgender friend, came out and was being hounded by actually transgender people on social media, and she eventually committed suicide, right?
Yeah.
And it's because of social media. If social media wasn't there, it would have happened.
Right.
Yeah. And people are, not only is all these things coming out now in America, at least, about just how bad, Instagram and social and Facebook is for young women, right?
Yeah.
It causes deaths. I mean, and I hate to say that, but that's the problem, right? Is because people think that's real. Social media is not real. It's virtual. It's not. To me, it's kind of fake.
It's
right?
definitely not real. Yeah.
Yeah. And to take everybody's opinion, and I mean, it's hard for anybody, especially introverts like ourselves. But when somebody flames us on social media, it's hard. It's hard to deal with because we're not used to it. But you're right. The problem, one of the biggest problems of social media is it allows people to hide behind a firewall and say whatever they want, right?
Yep.
And I'm not limiting that to only social media. I've heard horrible things happening on like what's that site everybody shares code on?
GitHub, Reddit.
No, Reddit.
Stack Overflow.
Yes, Reddit.
Stack Overflow.
Yeah, Stack Overflow and Reddit. I mean, men are being awful towards women on those things, right?
So Stack Overflow, I noticed long time ago, years. I'm not a stack for. I think I posted one thing on ever.
I'm not on it either.
Long time ago, I posted one thing. When I know what I noticed there is that if you are a beginner, you are trying to just jump in, and you like I came from India. I didn't know how to write good English. If you by chance write something, anything that not professional, they start come after you.
Mhm.
And that's a lot of young people, they got disappointed there because it's not a community. It's not really, it's managed by a bunch of nerds
Mhm.
who want to show how great they are because they learn how to write coding, programming, how to write algorithms. That's not what make you a good person. That's not what make you expert. Because you learn a programming language and you know how to write code, that make you
Right.
expert.
Mhm.
I don't think so. That's why our C# corner, we kept it totally separate.
Yeah.
Our focus was to figure out how we can help young people who really need help,
Mhm.
not the one who already getting a lot of help. If you're already
Right.
getting help, that's fine because you don't need help. People who don't have guidance, who need help, who don't even have money, right? That's the reason we created this platform where
Mm.
if somebody learn from it and they have now time, want to give back and help other people, that's the idea. And that's what real community is.
Yeah. Right. And so I want to ask this real quick because I haven't got any response from Facebook and Twitter, but I've asked all my followers on Facebook and Twitter, if I delete my account, would you be sad? If I delete my Facebook account, would you be upset? And so far I haven't got any reply back.
So no reply. Usually if there's no reply, it means they don't care. You can delete it.
So at this point, unless like somebody makes a comment in this chat, at the end of this month, I'm deleting Facebook completely, and I'm going to be like you. I'm not getting anything out of it anyway, right?
Yeah, and I think so Pushpender is perfect example. He uses social media the right way.
Right.
Okay. He is making as a business out of it. He's like a big influencer in the crypto market, right? And he has followers.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what if anybody's trying to use social media, think of that. Is it going to help me somehow in my growth, making me income, making me more money, helping me learn more new things? And then it's a perfect use of social media.
Yeah.
Simon asked me a question like, what's up with my Instagram? So I'll tell you my Instagram story. I joined Instagram because in America, all high schools, sports and all that, everything happens on Instagram.
Yeah.
All the sports athletes, they are on Instagram. So when my son is playing, their team and their videos, everything is really uploaded on Instagram. So that's why I'm there. So I can get up to date if he's, scoring his highlights.
Yeah.
And that's something I cannot give up. So I deleted my Instagram, but then I had to go back because that's where school updates, where the schedule is, where the next game is.
Yeah.
So even you want to leave, you cannot leave.
Yeah, that there are situations like that. And even when my kids were, teenagers, I joined things I really didn't really want to just so I could keep an eye on them.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And
yep.
so, but after they became adults, when they turn 18, then I didn't have to worry about that anymore. And I got off all that stuff. Right.
Yep. So that's what my Instagram story is.
So we might say that social media sucks, but yes, there is a purpose when things like that, like what you're describing, that you kind of have to do it.
Yeah.
But just do it wisely and not get sucked into it. That's the problem. It's just like
the problem.
It's just like a drug. It's just like cigarettes. All of a sudden, you're knee deep into it and you don't even know it.
It's not. It's like drinking alcohol, but alcohol is not even that addictive. It's because the accessibility, right?
Right.
It's not accessible to you 24/7. Even it is, it will going to affect your body. Also, your social people. If let's say you start going to, pub and start drinking every day and night, even your friends going to tell you. And social media is just you and your phone. Mm-hmm. Nobody can stop you, right?
Yeah.
You can do in the bathroom, you can do in the car, you can do everywhere. So that's the biggest problem is accessibility. And whenever you feel like bored, let me look at what's going on here.
Yeah. But the one thing I want to bring up, and I don't know if everybody knows this, but at least on the iPhone, and I would say the other phones have the same capability, is that if you have a social media app on your phone and you want to limit your time, and doing that is hard because they try to addict you, right?
Yeah.
But on the iPhone, at least, you can set up time limits on any app that at 30 minutes, like I have one social media app or two social media apps on my phone, and one of them I limit to 30 minutes a day. That's it. And it cuts me off at 30 minutes. And then I go, okay, I'm done,
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
No, that's anything else, Pushpinder, you want to plug in last before we close this down? Your sound is not clear, so you want to be a little closer.
To highlight something. So in the social media, actually, we can also use in the right way something like this. Let's say I want customized feed. Customized feed in the sense I want some .NET update as well. I want some news update, and I want to follow also Elon Musk to check whether he is supporting the Dogecoin or not. So I have set my custom feeds. Let's say some coin price is increasing, so I want to check that one. So I'm right now connected directly to main source. So I'm not believing like a third party media. So let's say Indian Prime Minister's announce something. So media will highlight in the like a very length. Then first they will give the click with title. After that we will click on that one. Then after that we will see 10, 20 ads. Then we will know actual what our PM said. But with the help of directly following, so we will get the within like a few characters, we will get all the information whatever we need. So this is like a some of like a positive points as well available. And if I compare like a Facebook, Insta, so Twitter is far better. Because in Twitter, whenever you will report some bad account, Twitter generally block that account. So this is like some good point. And as well as in the COVID situation, I did help like a lot of people with the directly, because I am right now not in India, but with the help of by tweeting and by tweeting to ministers and all those. So that is also good points. So, but bad points is everywhere. So sometimes social media can also right now like lot of like a good information also available on social media.
But that's a very good point. We should do it another show, like how to make good use of social media. That's what we should have, and have these like tips. Like these are the things. This is good. Now, very good point, Pushpinder. I agree. Like if you are smart enough to not get sucked into that, you can also, social media is very useful, right? And you said, right, we are right here because of social media.
Yeah.
And you can like virtually online, you can arrange your own plans. You can do some if you are like an influencer, then you can create your marketplace there, as well as there are a lot of things. Sometimes what happen in the general life or in other way, we cannot directly reach to like a very big people. With the help of social media, there are many ways. Right now, I am connected with some of like a very good programmer, some of directly Microsoft people, or some of people like you. So this is happening because of social media. If I would not Twitter, then definitely we will not able to connect. So now,
here's the difference here is that successful people will always find a way to get successful because they know how to utilize their time effective way. Right. The only problem when these young guys, teenagers, kids, they are getting sucked into that. They don't focus on all the things you just said.
Yeah.
They only focus on what my friend said, what their friend said, what kind of picture should I look at, what video should I watch. That's the problem. Yeah. Problem is not us. Like we already know how to manage our lives. And we have things, right? But this is the problem is the next generation. They are already, if you look at the kids, I watch my son, his friends and all that. When you look at them, 10 people, kids sitting in the room, all they are on the phones. Mm-hmm. Nobody's talking to each other. They're texting each other on the phone and chat what they're saying. Mm-hmm. So the scientists here are saying that the next generation will not even know how to effectively communicate using voice. They will only communicate through apps. That's the bigger problem.
Yeah.
And that's really that worries me, and that's what we're worrying a lot of people.
Well, even when my kids were teenagers, they didn't talk on the phone. They just texted.
Now it's worse. Now it's worse.
It's worse now. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So so that's the point. Anyway, it's going to affect their health. It's going to affect eyes because of screen time and all that. With that said, guys, I think we took already too much time. So with that, Pushpender, thank you so much for coming. I know it was due. I'll bring you again on some crypto and blockchain talks in future. I appreciate you coming and being available all the time. And David, thank you so much. Any last thing you want to say in the end?
Yeah, the last thing I want to say real quick is my feeling, at least, and I'm saying this as somebody who lives in America, but there's very little technical content I see on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Most of the technical content that's being promoted, even by Microsoft, is on Twitter. And so my suggestion to all of you, if you don't have a Twitter account, you should get one. Because to me, that's really where the technical content is, not Facebook.
Twitter and LinkedIn I highly
LinkedIn.
recommend. LinkedIn is also, you can connect with professional people, send messages. Yeah. And
but
they
not
don't
Facebook.
And they don't exploit the algorithms how Instagram and Facebook are doing.
Right.
They don't get involved in politics, right?
Yeah.
They don't get involved in religion. Go ahead, Pushpin.
One more thing, Twitter have one option. Let's say you are showing you are seeing some information which you don't like, so you can click on that one. After that, they will not show you such kind of information. For example, some celebrity pic is coming and you are feeling, I don't want to see this. So they ask for small feedback. So once you will click on that, then you will not see So this is one of the positive points. In the setting also, one option is there. Let's say some account is due and you don't want to see that kind of tweet. So you can uncheck that option. So you will see a potential tools.
Yeah.
So this is one of the best features.
Oh,
Twitter also adds very less. Adds
just one ad in a scroll kind of. Yeah.
Well, I was about to tell everybody this. I found this out the hard way. The only evil thing that Twitter does, right? And I know they do this because it happened to me, is, I started getting sick of their ads, right? So I started deleting the ads that I saw, and you know what they did? They showed me more ads. I'm serious. And it took a couple weeks for them to stop showing me so many ads. So don't delete the ads on Twitter because they'll show you more.
Because they're trying to figure out which ad you like so they can then show you only those.
Yeah.
So good part is I'm searching for car now, electric car, and all ads I see is electric cars.
Yeah.
And so good thing is I'm now learning more about new electric cars coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, end of the day, social media can be good and bad, but you have to figure out what works for you and what is useful. And that's the message really here, I don't think we can get rid of those. They are part of our lives now.
Yeah.
So both of you, thank you so much for coming on this Friday. Enjoy your weekend and talk soon.
Okay. See you later.
Thank you.